I'm an uninteresting man in my late 20s with a stable job and a happy family. Being so, I had never even entertained the thought that I might, one day, be the target of a stalker. So here's my story as a warning to everyone. You don't have to be a typical, pretty young lady to catch the eye of a stalker. I don't know if this makes sense, but I am a habitual, yet very casual, Facebook user. I don't post a lot, but I do check my newsfeed quite often. One Saturday night, I was doing a quick round on Facebook before I went to bed when I received a friend request. I accepted it without hesitation. Just about every friend request I get, I accept it because I don't ever post anything very personal. As I said, I have a very casual approach on social networking. I do a quick glance on the profile that had friended me and saw that it was obviously a fake account. Not thinking much about it, I put away my computer and fell asleep. The next day, I was having lunch at a friend's house. Having completely forgotten about the friend request from the night before, my phone buzzed, and I saw that I got a message from a coworker of mine, Maya. Although Maya and I worked together and had few mutual friends outside of work, we didn't communicate much other than when it was about work. I checked it, assuming it was work related. I guess looking back, you can say it was. To get to the gist of it, the Facebook account that friended me also friended Maya, and had bombarded her with insults and accusations of being a whore/slut in every name in the book. The person even took it a step further by messaging Maya's husband saying that she was cheating on him with a coworker. Maya wanted to know if I knew who the person was because I was the only other person who accepted the friend request. I explained to her now that I accept almost every friend request and had no idea who it was. I then proceeded to unfriend the profile in question. Maya then explained to me that she already had suspicion on who it was, but just wanted to see if I could confirm it. She believed it was Kari. Let's rewind a few weeks earlier. I had a friend request from Kari. It struck me as rather odd. Although we worked at the same place, we had never met, never spoken, nor had we even made eye contact or been within 20 feet of each other. We worked in different departments, but I walked past her every day because I had to walk through her department to get to our lounge. That was the furthest extent of our interactions. I only learned her name though from when she friended me on Facebook, and I recognized her picture, of course. I'm not sure how she found out my name. Kari also friended my wife's profile and began to shift through hundreds and years of my wife's posts and pictures, liking and commenting on several of them. She began interacting with my posts too, as though she knew us well. At work though, I walked by like usual and still no interaction. I found it odd, but didn't look too far into it. So back to the present. The mysterious Facebook account continued to harass Maya until she told her that she knew it was Kari, and was going to call the police. I thought that was the end of that, but boy, I was wrong. Over several weeks, I began getting more friend requests from girls to hook up with me. Obviously, I knew they were all fake, and for the most part, I ignored them. I also began getting notifications from my Google and Facebook accounts about suspicious activity on my profile. Most of the time, it warned me about failed login attempts. One I specifically remember said my Facebook account was actually logged in from somewhere unusual and asked whether it was me. It wasn't me, and I should have been more concerned, but for some reason I didn't care. I was stupid, and even after that, I didn't bother to change my password. At that time, I viewed all these happenings as random, isolated incidents. I had no valuable stuff on my account, and didn't have any private secretive messages. What harm could they do, right? A few months passed when, one day, my wife gets a message from Kari stating that she had bought a high-end video camera and was looking to start some amateur filming. She wanted to know if we would help her by letting her film our family one day. Remembering what Maya had said months ago, I was reluctant, but wanted to give Kari the benefit of the doubt, so we agreed to tell her that we'd schedule a time for whenever we weren't busy, and left it at that. Once again, I've yet to actually meet Kari. More weeks passed by, and we completely forgot about scheduling the film shoot when Kari messages me about it. I turn her down, then things got weird. She sent several gifs of stick figures doing sexually suggestive motions and gyrations. I didn't respond, so she asked, "Funny, isn't it?" I immediately texted my wife to log into my Facebook profile to observe the messages. Not wanting to be rude, I agreed with Kari as of the humor in the gif she sent and carried on with the conversation. She proceeded to send me old photos from my abandoned MySpace account that I had completely forgotten about. This was around the time when MySpace had been revamped and people lost a lot of cherished memories. Somehow, she dug up mine and decided to share them with me. This was where it started to get creepy. Things escalated quickly from there. She began talking about her body and how she wasn't attractive, trying to bait me into complimenting her looks. She was not beautiful, but she was an attractive person. I didn't bite though. Then she hit me with something out of the blue. She asked me about my private part, calling it my cock, suggesting that it was probably really big. I decided that enough was enough and stopped responding. Of course, my wife was reading the whole time and we were texting back and forth about how funny and weird this all was. I continued to go to work and still awkwardly never actually met her. I especially didn't want to strike up any conversations after that. Kari messaged me one final time asking for a favor. Maya had actually blocked her profile, and Kari suspected that Maya was saying bad stuff about her, so she wanted me to check her profile to confirm. I told her I wasn't going to stalk Maya for her, and that was that. Just between us though, I did check, and no, Maya couldn't care less to waste time talking about Kari. Around this time, my wife got a text from an unknown number. The person knew her name, but was trying to remain anonymous and was trying to flirt with her. We were with a bunch of friends at the time, and we'd all thought it'd be funny if we all text flirted with this person at the same time to annoy them. Once again, I never thought to connect any of the incidents. Kari eventually quit work, and I never saw her again, but I continued to get suspicious activity and friend requests that I, stupidly, continued to write off. I had all but forgotten about Kari. Then, I'd say over a year later, I get a bomb from my wife. A good friend of ours texted her that I was sending her very inappropriate messages on Facebook. I had been busy running errands all day and hadn't really checked my Facebook at that time. I found out that my password had been changed, and when I finally logged back on, all of my messages had been cleared. I had no idea the extent of what happened until I started hearing from more people that I was being very suggestive and nasty to them. The thing was, these weren't random women on my friends list that were targeted. These were women that were really close to me, good friends, my wife's sisters, my friends' wives. These messages weren't holding back either. They went all out in graphic detail about what I wanted to do to them. I felt completely violated and humiliated. I couldn't imagine how the women felt. My wife and I were really close to our families and friends, and every other week or so, all of our friends would get together and drink, barbecue, watch movies or sports, and hang out. We'd have several families over and never had a problem. All of them said they understood what happened and they know it wasn't me. Deep inside though, I could see that they felt that it possibly, potentially, probably was me. Over time, more and more of them stopped coming over, to the point where my home started to feel empty. I confided to my wife of how I felt that they think it was me, and she rebutted that I was just being paranoid. She argued that our friends were just busy with their lives, that they would eventually come over when they were free again. I then learned that someone had created a Facebook account using my name and picture, and had continued harassing the same women. One of them posted a picture of the conversation with me on Facebook. She commented that it could really be me because the mystery person had used some words that I typically would. She also stated that the person knew my friends and family extensively. My heart instantly shattered after reading that. I quit checking my Facebook for the longest time, and I guess I fell into a mild depression. I felt miserable. I told my wife that I wanted to disappear and strongly considered quitting my job of 7 years and moving away to start anew. I now know that I was being quite irrational, and thankfully, my wife stayed strong for me throughout it all. I felt like I needed to defend my honor and started gathering alibis of times, people, and places I was around during the times of many of those messages. My wife brutally told me that she couldn't believe I was even weak enough to let this no life on Facebook put me down and make me feel that way. Which is true. I am, and always have been, a very mentally strong person. I always look for the best in the bad situation, but for some reason, this affected me differently. I can't explain why, but I felt extreme shame and guilt for some reason I didn't even do. Without my wife's support knocking me back into reality, I don't even know what would have happened. We advised our friends to just ignore the person, and eventually, everything stopped. From time to time, I still get a random friend request, but I don't accept them anymore. I don't have any proof that this was all the work of Kari. It just all happened during the time that she injected herself into my life and eventually stopped after she left it. My friends have started to come over again, but it hasn't felt the same ever since. I don't know if it's just them or it's in my head. My wife and I came to the conclusion that Kari reveled in the misery of others. After tormenting Maya, she moved on and targeted me, trying to ruin my marriage and distance me from my friends for no other reason than the fact she enjoyed doing so. I'm sure she hasn't stopped and left me alone only because she found a new victim to harass. Kari, I never met you. Let's not meet.